can be an insane class to use in Baldur's Gate 3 if you know what you're doing. So, this is my Way of the Open Hand Monk, level 1 to 12, combat tutorial, as well as items. So let's crack this out. Now the monk is really good and it focuses on using key points. Now these key points allow you to use special things. Things like Stunning Strike or Fury of Blows and whatnot. And as you can see, with level 1, we do get Fury of Blows, which means we get 2 attacks as a bonus action. Really good, and this will use a key point, so bear that in mind. But of course, when it comes to our ability points, we are going to have something that looks like this. 10 in Strength, 16 in Dex, 15 Constitution, 8 Intelligence, this could also be Charisma, 15 Wisdom, and then either 8 or 10 like I said. And then skill proficiencies, take whatever you want. Okay, Monk level 2, and look at all the extra features that we now have. As a bonus action, with a key point, we can disengage, we can dash, and we can do patient defense, which means attacks against us have disadvantage. We also have advantage on dexterity saving throws. So this is really good if you are in the thick of a battle. Instead of trying to, and you don't think you could take out an enemy with 2 hits, patient defense, so you can defend yourself better, and then work on them in the next round. And your movement speed increased by 3 while you're not wearing armor or using a shield. Monk level 3, and now we have more things such as deflect missiles, harmony of fire and water, based on your specialization. Now for us, we are going to take open hand, which gives us topple, stagger, and push. So this is like a punching thunder wave. This makes the enemy stagger, and this will topple them to knock them prone. Both do 2 attacks, so even if you fail to knock them prone, for example, you still get the damage from 2 attacks. Which brings us to Monk level 4. Now for our feat, the only choice here is Tavern and Brawler. Now this is really good because it adds your strength modifier twice to damage and attack rolls, which you might be thinking is currently 0. However, for this build to work optimally, you need to use things such as the Hill Giant Elixirs, stuff like that. This will boost your strength to like 23, or even in some cases, if you get the giant ones, will drop you to 27, which is like a +6 or a +8, I believe, off the top of my head. Trying to do quick math while filming, not really working. And because of this, we can bump our Constitution up to 16. And here we are, level 5, we have an extra attack now, so this means if you do this, and you have your bonus action for your topples and that sort of stuff, you can do 4 attacks per round. Or Stunning Strike, and these are really good, because if you can stun an enemy, they lose their whole turn. Okay, we're now Monk level 6, and look at all these bonus features. So we can do Wholeness of Body and heal ourselves up, as well as regain our key points. We can infuse our strikes with Radiant damage, with Psychic damage, with Necrotic damage, and this uses key points. We also get better movement while not wearing armor or a shield. And as you'll notice while we're doing this, monks are so easy to level up. Now at Monk level 7 we have Evasion. So when a spell or effect would deal half damage on a successful dexterity saving throw, it deals no damage if we succeed and only half damage if you fail. As well as Stillness of Mind, which means we'll automatically cast this if we become charmed or frightened, stopping us from being charmed or frightened. Okay, Monk level 8, now we have more ASIs, and we are going to take that for this one and bump our dex up to 18. Now Monk level 9, Advanced Unarmored Movement, but more importantly we get these extra abilities. Key Resonating Punch. Hit a creature with your bare fists, making the key in its body resonate with you. You can make the key explode with the Blast, which is down here. Detonate the key of a creature resonating with you. So this will, it's basically turning the enemy into a human bomb. Really, really good. And as a bonus action we can also do this. Monk level 10, we get more key points, we get more movement speed, and Purity of Body, which means we're now immune to poison damage, which is amazing. Monk level 11, again more key points, but we get Tranquility. So long rests surrender you an aura of peace, granting you Sanctuary. And Sanctuary is amazing. Basically, we cannot be targeted by enemy attacks or spells. We can take damage from spells that will do a large area, like Cloud Kill, that sort of things. But this will only end if we hurt another creature, which means when we start combat, if our turn isn't first, or if we want to get into the right position, we cannot be targeted. Okay, Monk level 12, we have a new feat again, and more key points, and for the feat, you could bump your dex up to 20, or you could bump your wisdom up. It kind of depends. Theoretically, what you should have done here, instead of the 10, 8, 10, is have 2 8s and 1 10, and then bump your wisdom up to 16, but it's not too bad. For this, I will bump my dex up to 20. Okay, so that was our level 1 to 12 build all done. Now, when it comes to items, there are a few options here. For a helmet, you could have the Mask of Soul Perception. This gives you +2 bonus to attack rolls, initiatives, and perception checks, as well as detect thoughts, which in my opinion, detect thoughts does seem like a very monkish ability. However, it does look like that. So bear that in mind. For a cloak, I really like the Flesh Melter cloak. Get 1 to 4 acid damage on anyone that hits you with a melee weapon. I think that's a really good ability. For boots, the Disintegrating Nightwalkers I think are phenomenal, just for the ability to have Misty Step. Now when it comes to gloves, in the early stages of the game, you ideally would like to take the Braces of Defense. This will give you a +2 bonus to armor class, while you're not wearing armor or holding a shield, which we will not be. I would wear this up until you get these. The gloves are soul catching. Unarmed strikes deal an additional 1 to 10 force damage. Now that alone is amazing. But this also bumps your constitution up by 2, which now means we have 18 constitution. And we get soul catching. So once per turn, on an unarmed hit, we regain 10 hit points, or we can forgo the healing and have advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the end of our next turn. These gloves are just insanely good. I cannot stress this enough. These are the best monk gloves you can wear. For a ring, I really like the Ring of Regeneration just to get that extra health points every turn, as well as the Sentient Amulet. This gives us key restoration, and that in itself is amazing. We also have access to Shatter, which is another really good ability. If you really wanted to, you could swap that for the Amulet of Greater Strength to get your con up to 23, but honestly I think the key point restoration is better. Now when it comes to gear, there are a few options. You could wear the Graceful Cloth, and this is one of my favourite monk and just clothing items in general. Bump your dexterity score up by 2 to a maximum of 20. Now this is really good, so for example at the end there, instead of bumping our dex up to 20, we could have gone with a +2 to wisdom and worn this, and then we'd have 20 dex, 18 con, and 18 wisdom. Me personally, I really like the Shelter of Akthakal, however you say it, just because it gives you a mirror image, and I think to bump your AC up, mirror image is amazing, especially in a tough fight. You could also, for example, wear the Robe of the Weave if you wanted to. It gives you a +2 to armor class, so you'd get 19 overall, but I'm not as sold on that personally. And in the early stages of the game, I do think the Ice Bite robes are really good. Just the simple fact you get a cast of Armour of Agathis, and since you're going to be in melee, this can be really good. For me personally, I am going to use the Shelter of this though. So that was my guide along with items. Let's go pick a fight and we'll show you how this works. Okay, as you can see we're in the fight and our monk is joint with our rogue in initiative. So let's get this going. And for me personally, I would start with mirror image. Now ideally you want to save this for a really tough fight. This isn't going to be a tough fight per se, but I do just want to show this off. Now that has used our action, but the joy is we have our bonus actions we can do here. So let's close the distance. Come over here and let's do one of our key points, and we'll do topple. And there you go, you'll see how much damage we did in 2 hits. An insane amount. That 10 extra force damage from using the gloves is amazing. Now as you see, mirror image just came in there. They made a miss the arrow shot. Okay, so our monk is going to start picking off some enemies. Now the camera is a little janky in this fight for some reason, but there you go, we did 15 damage with 1 normal hit, and because the insane movement the monk has, we can come up here and we can start beating enemies up here. And thanks to our key points, we still have all of these abilities we could do. So let's start with... Now unfortunately I was going to try and push the enemy off, but it won't let us because the clothing, whatever you want to call it, the fabric is in the way. But for example, you could do this, and potentially we could have pushed him off the edge, and then he would take full damage as well. But you saw just how much damage we did to the enemy there. The monk is so powerful, especially with these gloves equipped. Okay, let's try and show off the push again, just to see if we can do it this time. And there you go. So not only did we hit them, we then pushed them off, and it was the push them off that actually just did enough damage to kill them. And thanks to the monk's insane movement once again, we can start closing the distance a bit. And because that used our bonus action, we do still have our main actions available. Now, can we get close enough? We can, excellent. And because we're in here, we now can show off the stunning strike. So if we were to do this, he's saved, but we get 2 attacks, so we can try again. And once again he's saved, which is unfortunate. But we can finish them off on our next turn. Now what pairs really nicely with a monk is haste. So I have used Gale to put haste on our monk, and you're going to see just how many attacks we can do. So there's our first. There is our second. Oh, there you go, use Soul Catching Boon. There is our third. There is our fourth. And we still have our bonus action, which means we could do another 2. Just like that. So with haste, you can do 6 attacks in 1 round, which is insane. That is enough to take out most enemies, if not 2 enemies sometimes, if you get lucky with your crits. And you can see, we still have the movement. We can start chasing this one down too. Now you have to remember, this is all without using our Tavern Brawler feat to its main capabilities. If we were to come in here and drink a elixir here, you're about to see just how much damage we can do.
Try me.
There you go, 19 with 1 hit. So we really can capitalise on doing that, and I just showed you how you did most of the fight without even having the strength buff we would get from Tavern Brawler. If we would have had Tavern Brawler from the start, we would have been outputting so much more damage. In fact, let's see if I can show you on one of my characters. So let's take Shadowheart for example, and let's do a push. Or you know what, let's take Gale, because Gale's hit. Or not, because that went very wrong. Let's do Topple on Shadowheart. And there you go, you see, with the Tavern Brawler stacked, we do even more damage, enough to take out a bunch of enemies. And it's an amazing form of having a fighter without having to have a extra like barbarian or something on the battlefield. You can have a more dex-based person who can do your stealthing, your lockpicking, and be an upfront DPSer. So if you have enjoyed, please drop this a like, it helps me amazingly. Let me know in the comments below what you would change, what other items, where you put your stats and all that sort of stuff. If you're new and you haven't subscribed but you'd like to, that would also be amazing, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.